Did you all brush your teeth?
Yes.
Did you find your book yet?
Yes, we did.
Okay, what did you guys pick?
I want to read the Matsuyama Mirror again.
What? We just read that last night. Okay, fine. One more time.
Yay!
All right, but it's getting late and we gotta make it short. Here it goes. A long time ago, there lived in a quiet spot a young man and his wife. They had one child, a little daughter whom they loved with all their hearts. One day, the father was obligated to go to the great city, the capital of Japan, for some business. It was too far for the mother and her baby to go, so he set out alone after bidding them goodbye and promising to bring them home some pretty presents. At last, the time came when the wife might expect her husband back. The good wife was glad to see him come home safe and sound, and the little girl clapped her hands and laughed with delight when he saw the pretty presents her father had brought for her. "I have brought you a pretty thing," he said to his wife. "It is called a mirror. Look at it and tell me what you see inside." Inside a wooden box she found a round piece of metal. One side was white, like frosted silver, and ornamented with raised figures of birds and flowers. The other was bright as the clear sky. Into it a young mother looked with delight and astonishment, for from its depths was looking at her with parted lips and bright eyes, a smiling face. "What do you see?" again asked the husband, pleased at her astonishment and glad to show that he had learned something while he had been away.
Why does he keep asking her what she sees? Doesn't she know it's her?
No, back then they didn't have any mirrors, and this is the first time she's ever seen her face. "'Kay, let's keep going. I see a pretty woman looking at me, and she moves her lips as if she's speaking. And, dear me, how odd, she has on a blue dress just like mine." "Why, you silly woman, it is your own face that you see," said the husband, proud of knowing something that his wife didn't know. "That round piece of metal is called a mirror. In the town everybody has one, although we have not seen them in this country before." The wife was charmed with her present, and for a few days could not look into the mirror often enough. It was the first time she had ever seen the reflection of her own pretty face, but she considered such a wonderful thing far too precious for everyday use, and soon shut it up in her box again and put it away carefully amongst her most valuable treasures. Years passed on, and her husband and wife still lived happily. The joy of their life was their daughter, who grew up the very image of their mother, and who was so dutiful and affectionate that everyone loved her. By and by, a terrible misfortune happened to this happy little family. The good, kind mother fell sick and got worse and worse, until at last there was no doubt she would die. Before their mother died, she called the girl to her side and said, "My darling child, you know I am very sick. Soon I must die and leave your dear father and you alone. When I am gone, promise me that you will look into the mirror every night and every morning. There you will see me, and know that I am still watching over you." With these words, she took the mirror from its hiding place and gave it to her daughter. Now this obedient and dutiful daughter never forgot her mother's last request, but each morning and evening took the mirror from its hiding place and looked into it long and earnestly. There she saw a bright and smiling vision of her lost mother, not pale and sickly as in her last days, but the beautiful young mother of long ago. Her greatest joy was to be able to look into the mirror and say, "Mother, I have been today what you would have me to be." Seeing her look into the mirror every night and morning without fail, and to hold conversations with it, her father at length asked her the reason of her strange behavior. "Father," she said, "I look into the mirror every day to see my dear mother and to talk with her." Then she told him of her mother's dying wish, and how she never failed to fulfill it. Touched by so much simplicity and such faithful, loving obedience, the father shed tears of pity and affection. Nor could he find it in his heart to tell the child that the image she saw in the mirror was but the reflection of her own sweet face, becoming more and more like her dead mother day by day. The end.
Mommy, can I have a mirror too?
Maybe if you do all your chores. Okay, everyone, it's bedtime. Nighty-night.